Welcome back. Yeah, we're still at her. So, yeah, we were just left off from you. Oh, my seat just dropped. The ladies are up for the little pilgrimage. I don't know if they're all here. That doesn't look like 85, but maybe it is. That looks like a little phoenix right in the middle there. So yeah, I'm going to try and get all the posts knocked in until I get to the sort of dam wall that I was kind of temporarily building. I'll kind of show you when we get down there. So there's a pile on that side of the creek, and then there's a pile on that side of the creek, and then after that I'll get all those posts knocked in. And I think what I'll end up doing is I got to go and run to Virden Valley View Co-op. I'm going to go and pick up another pallet of no, that must be Phoenix over there because she's plugged into her mum's back end. So I'm going to get a pallet of barbed wire because I know I'm going to run out and I want to be at that big fence all weekend. So what I'm going to do, back taming my squirrels, I'm going to grab a couple of dozen of T-posts and one of those slide hammers because I don't have one. So I think we'll just do this short bit here up on top of that pile with T-posts. I'm going to try and push in a couple with the loader, but I don't see it working very well because there is quite a few rocks in amongst that dirt. So yeah, but we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. So since we last spoke, we had, oh, what the heck did we have? 4/10 of rain. I was trying to think it was 3/8, but it's kind of a weird rain gauge. It's in tenths and not eighths. So yeah, it's a little damp. So yeah, that hay that's cut there got rained on, but I actually kind of knew it was going to get rained on. That's why I made sure I had it cut in pairs. That way I was going to rake it anyway. But I'm good with that because I actually wanted the paddocks that these guys come off of to get rained on. My plan worked. Anyway, so I'm going to get the rest of these posts knocked in. And then what I'll probably end up doing is nailing up this end of the wires before I move the tractor over the ravine. Because I want to take the truck back to the yard and then just go on over to Virden and do my pickup, which also is an excuse for Piper Doug to go get an ice cream at the dessert island in Virden. If you've never been, you must go. It's lovely. We always have very good quality ice creams, very good selection, and cooked food too. For all your need. It's on King Street. So, yeah, we'll bring you back when something happens. Of course, the gingers are leading the charge. Look at them. Them gingers. I'm married to one of them. Not one of them. Mrs. Piper Duck. She's a ginger. She's now a white witch. She was a ginger. She battled the Balrog in Lord of the Rings and came back as more powerful as the white witch, so be careful. Anyone else getting Final Destination vibes from my load? Barbed wire. Posts. Ice cream. I wasn't lying. Things I'll do for soft serve vanilla ice cream. Oh gosh. The Manitoba national bird is out in numbers. Flinking mosquitoes, man. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if I was smart or not, but I went with wooden posts over the top of those piles, and some of them did not want to go in, and some of them are in just enough to count, because I managed to get that tractor up on the pile just enough to push the post into the loader, because I figured the dirt would be soft where it is there, but wherever there's rocks, yeah, that sure stopped me. But I think what I'll end up doing is I'll go along and I'll cut what's extra. Oh my gosh, the mosquitoes, man. I'll cut the extra off the top of the post. That way when I'm putting, like you can see the little insulators here. Once I start putting them on, then they're not like way up in the air, because I want the power wire to be just around about that 6 inches off the top of the barbed wire. Yeah. So then I'm going to bring down, put an insulator on the end of that, and then run the hot wire. And then, like I said, I'm not going to worry about putting the doop-de-doo on this one until I've got the big run all barbed wired up and top hot on it, and then I'll start doing all the dip-de-doos, because I'll need to set up like a cutting jig up at the workshop to cut all those little bits of 2x6. It would be great if I could use 2x4s, but you can't quite fit those insulators like there. You can't quite fit them on a 2x4. Maybe if I use screws I might be able to do it, but anyway, it's 9 o'clock, and like I said, the national birds are out in force. I don't see any sign of my dragonflies, guys. Anyway, so yeah, if you look here and see all this action, yeah, that storm must have got the critters all wound up, because they were all up in this corner. There was even one wee bubby was out down here, must have got squeezed out. But what had happened was, because of the way that frost works in these kind of boggy areas, this post had got pushed up a bit, so it got squeezed underneath that hot wire. So I managed to get it pushed down at least a foot with the loader when I was up here knocking these posts in. So hopefully that won't happen again. And this should be good until I've got all these done up. So I got to mount the hinges and gate up there. I got to screw hinges on this one for a 16 footer, and there's the other ones in now, so I got to put hinges and a gate on that one. So once we've done the big run, I'm going to come back and rebuild this corner, and then hopefully when the cows go off into the big field, they'll leave me in peace and quiet, so I can at one point cut the fence and then attach this run back to here, because I have to take this down and all of this stuff out and knock in a whole bunch of new posts back to here. But I'm pretty sure once they get let into that south field, they won't be caring what I'm up to. Though every so often when I'm here working, they all want to come up and hang out, so I gotta go walk through them, pet them, you know, gotta pet them, gotta pet the girls. Anyway, I'm gonna go back up, fill the lagoon pump. You can see the foam monster right there. So I gotta go fill the lagoon pump up, and then yeah, I think we'll maybe, oh, I gotta move those straw bales, dang it. Anyway, let's go. Happy Friday. Now, for those who are maybe new to the world of Piper Dug, they'll be asking, why are you feeding bales in the middle of summer? Now, it's towards the end of August, but we feed bales all year round. Now, the Gen Pop, no. We try to not feed them as often as possible. Last year was a bit of a humdinger. I know, I gotta grease the joystick cords. Last year was a bit of a humdinger because the drought and trying to maximize bale productivity. We kept the cows out and off of certain fields. So we fed the big herd, oh gosh, 9 months out of, I'll bring you back, I gotta undo these. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, the big herd, we ended up feeding 9 months out of the year. Now a lot of people would be looking at that going, no, that's, can't be doing that. Well, here, it works better for us until we get the fences caught up, to have the cows in a controlled environment and then bring the feed to them. Now going forward, once everything is all fenced up, we will be able to make them move and come and go as we see fit. Now, as far as why we're feeding year-round here, because these are the ones we really want in a controlled environment. So we have these. Last year were all first-time heifers. These are their first babies ever. So we like them to be in a controlled environment so we can keep an eye on them, make sure that they haven't stopped feeding their babies and their babies are stealing from somebody else, or the baby's being weaned and we end up with runts. So what we end up doing is we feed them, and then also in the other pen we have the heifers that are first time to the bull. That way we can keep an eye on them also. And then across the road, which we will be feeding here in a minute, are the old girls. Old girls in special cases, special case being Squirtsy. We're reprogramming Squirtsy, so she has to stay away from the bull this year and get reprogrammed earlier for next year. The rest of them they have baby at foot, and they are not going to be calving next year. They will not be here next year. So here's the downside to bale spears. See if I can do this without jumping too badly and not trying to kill a calf. There we go. Anyway, I'll bring you back in a minute. Anyway, where was I? Hey, pug. Well, the nice thing about doing this is one of the heifers that wasn't really petted last year, and she now is. Here's Chewy, one of our favorites. Hey, sweet girl. So, still working on these two. This is Eileen, who's massive like her mama. Squishinator, Squishy. This is Lone Star. Hey, baby girl. Hi, baby. And here's Teens. Hi, Teensers. Hi, girl. So what you'll notice, there's Maggie and there's Squiggles. There's Beauty there. Dang it, I would say this Beauty's in calve. I don't want her to be. I don't want anybody to be calving from now on. I know that's poor bull planning, but hi, sweet girl. Lamar. Ow, stop hitting me. So, the other thing that we do here, and people might be wondering, like, we seem to be more like petted animals than a real commercial cattle operation. Well, we are technically a real cattle operation, people. Hi, sweet girl. What we do is, because we have these heifers here in a controlled environment, we program them. We program them to be okay with us. We program them to be not nervous around us. And they get used to the fact that we're here to help them. And it has become very evident. Hey, Harley. Harley's getting there. She's another one that was kind of quiet at calving time, but she kind of went a little feral after. Anyway, so that way, like, we've actually pointed this out, that since we started how we do this calving first and second heifers right by the yard, you can spot those ones out in the gen pop. Like, half the herd that you see me walking through that I'm laying my hands on are all of the ones that came from this programming here. They, like I said, they don't fear us in any way. Like, she's antsy, but she's not like flipping right out. So yeah, like I said, there's still, like, she's another one, not quite petted. But anyway, back to what I was saying. This programming, yeah, it takes a little more time. But because I'm not grain farming, I have the time to be able to do that most of the time. And a lot of people will be saying, well, what's the point? Well, I would far rather have between 80 and 100 cow-calf pairs that I can do that with than have 100 to 120 commercial animals that you can't work with. Like, if they're just, oh, I know this seat is doing my head in. If you have animals that that you've got to chase and you've got to beat with sticks and all the rest of it, I feel sorry for you. I've been there. We have been there. Believe you me, we had animals that were just wild. We had animals that were literally bush cows. And I will never do it again. It is not worth the stress and the hassle. Now I get it, when you are creating a herd and you're buying in animals, you kind of buy what you get. My biggest thing would be, you either get them taught with like chop pail feeding, that you are their friend, whether it's going out to the pasture with one of those little 12-volt feeders, little what do they call those, little sprinkle feeders, little auger things, auger topper things, and basically as soon as you get the calves weaned and you have your heifers picked for the following year, you start pail feeding them too, because that's how you unprogram the Fruit Loops. Because believe you me, some of those girls in there is no reason that they are friends with us. The mums, they're old guard. They're the old ones that were not great. Ironically, some of them will actually already either have been in there or went straight on the truck. But the difference is, we get them on to pail feeding as quick as possible. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get on to something more interesting. Oh, you know the worst thing about fencing when it's 28 degrees, 29 degrees? Slight breeze, that's okay. One thing worse than fencing is cleaning up old fence. You wanna know the one thing that's worse about cleaning up an old fence? Worser than cleaning up an old fence? Is cleaning up an old fence after a track hoe has dragged it all over the place. Now, I am not blaming the track hoe operator. This is on me. This is all square on me. Because I did not have time to come tidy up the wire. I had laid it down on the ground by the base of the posts. And just we threw the look at the Irish at it. Well, he did fairly good. I think he's got half the wire bundled up into the big piles, but there's still some stuff here in amongst the grass. So I'm now finding it as I'm unrolling. I have some like modern barbed wire that was to get used up from another project before I start unrolling the big spools. So yeah, I'm now starting to find all of this ancient wire, and as you can see, this is what it is. It is single strand double barb, like it's double wired barb. So yeah, so I don't have a wire roller. I know where I can get one, but it's kind of pointless because this wire is not laid out. It's like this, where it's kind of bundled and wrapped around posts here and there, because that's what he would do, is when he had time, he would just sort of wrap it around the post, that way it didn't get dragged off into the field worse than it already did. So I'm going to get on with this and save you guys the pain of having to join me in getting cut and sweated. My brand new gloves are already in pretty bad shape, but better than getting my hands all tore up, which ironically they already are. So anyway, we got to get all this old crap out of the way to build this brand new beautiful Alcatraz. Fencing in the Inmates, part 3 or 20 or 19 or I don't know. So y'all want to know how dangerous I like to live life? I did all the teeth replacement on this, but the wheel's still attached. That's how Piper Doug rolls. So yeah, that's a lot of broken teeth. Ironic considering I only have half of mine. Anyway, so yeah, take a cold hard look at this. This will probably be the most you'll ever see all of the rake teeth on this. I'm having to go back over a whole bunch that are, the bolts are loose. I don't know if they just rattle loose because of that. I see some of them have broke, and I just had to replace one with whatever carriage head bolt I had. So yeah, that's quite the pile when you look at that. Do some quick math. 1, 2, miss a few, 99, 100. So yeah, that's kind of one of those things where when you're selling a machine and you're asking fair market value for it, but this was close at hand, so I couldn't pass it by because it meant I didn't have to trailer it or do anything on. But this is how many teeth I've had to replace, and I've hardly used it. Yeah, there's a black one in there, so that shows you that one's shattered. So I don't know whether it caught on something, because you kind of see the wear point is not most of the time where they break. So I've got 3 spare. Man, I bought a big box of them. I have 3 spare. Should do me to the end of the season, fingers crossed. Up at Shoal Lake at the Massey Ferguson place, the Agco, I think it's $2 a tooth, which is not a whole heck of a lot really. I don't know why people don't just replace them. I don't know what a whole wheel costs. I haven't even tried and figured this out here. What is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 24 teeth per wheel. So that would be about $50 in teeth. And then you have your hoop, and then you have your center cap. So yeah, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have a couple of spares kicking around, but I don't. See, there's one that's actually on the wrong side, but they put it on which way they could just to keep going. So that one will be to either get taken apart and turn the teeth all around. I think it's the only one. Yeah. So we haven't had too much of a trouble with this wrapping. That one there was wrapped. You can see the crippling in there. But I don't know. I've seen different. I was watching Ranching Sodak, pretty good channel down there in South Dakota. Matt was coming up with different ways to protect these from wrapping to save the bearings. Because that's the thing is you can put guards on here, but once the stuff's stalled, you're going to start dragging these wheels. So I don't know. I might end up trying to like get a couple of bits of round bar and make little guards. That way that even if it does wrap, you're not eating out your bearings. But for the most part, these all look good. And yeah, like he was saying, hardly any of these machines, the hubs are greasable. Everything else is, but not the... See, there's another one. So, anyway, I'm going to go back fencing because we got rain this morning. Yeah, it's supposed to be a hot day today, but it's going to have to be because it's now damp. Okay, let's go back to fencing in the inmates. Well, considering it was supposed to be 32, 31, 32 degrees today, with the humidex making it 35. Cloud cover and wind, feels lovely. Literally feels like it's like 22 degrees. Now it's supposed to get warmer later on. The cloud's supposed to thin out, but I was going to show you something. So yeah, this fence project is quite big. So I'll probably put in about 10 miles of walking to doing this fence, because you got to run the wire, then you got to walk back and forward and pull the wire up, and then you got to walk back and forward and line the wire up, and then you got to walk back and forward and nail the wire up. In between that and rolling up what's left of the old wire. But as I'm going, because I've got big buckets of fencing nails, hopefully you can hear me. Here's the anomalies. So I've got a whole bunch of these in my wee pouchy. So these are obviously the end of a roll, so they don't make complete nails. So I just chuck them in the little center pocket. If you ever want to see what a nail that missed the bender looks like, so yeah, should be bent right there. So yeah, not too often you'll find one of these, one that doesn't actually go through the bender at all. So into the anomaly bucket. So I'm going to run to the end and pull the first of the wires all out, and then I think I still have some old wire over there to pick up, get this tension, and then that's one wire. So I was brainstorming with the boss lady the other night, last night actually. Big shout out to the family, they're away off for a day out with my mother-in-law, Linda. Yeah, I got the lottery when I got my mother-in-law, she's awesome. So they are gone to visit where Linda grew up, which is way over towards the middle of the province in the south, so Wawanisa sort of area. And then they're heading over to visit Linda's mum's grave to pay respects. They try to do it at least once every year to go and pay the respects. Sadly, I don't have any free time, so I can't go with the whole family event. Anyway, so talking with the talking with the boss lady, and normally what I would do is, and you know this from my other fences, I run the hot wire along the top. So I think what I might do, because these posts are huge, I might just put normal insulators on here. And if there's any that are like excessively bugging me, but being tall, I can just bring the chainsaw out, just walk along and zip off whatever's extra. But that's not a today job. Today's job is getting fences up. So anyway, I'm gonna go and pull my wire. Woo! I tell ya. Hey Jada. I got lucky. Oh my gosh. So this lot's been hanging out down here. They're in the ravine. It's lovely, lots of shelter, da da da. Had the big storm roll through, and we had one calf wandering around on the wrong side of the fence, and they got a back end down there. So while I was fencing, as you saw in the previous clip, doing the big new fence, I thought I'd come down here and check on everybody. So I come down along here, and everybody's where they need to be. I get here, and if you look there, you'll see a broken post. Well, that post was not laying like that, it was laying like that, here, flat in the ground. They could have walked right over that fence and away. Look at that, just chase that one right into the wire. That's how they test it. Cheeky bism, redhead. So yeah, they could have walked right out. So I stood that fence up like that to get the wire up off the ground. So now I've just pushed that post in far enough so I can get the wire over past it, lean it up against it, and then I can come in along with the post pounder and tap that in with the outside edge of the hammer, because I don't have any way of going into the field to knock that in without laying the fence down, and I don't want to test my luck with this log. I tell you, that's Ginny. She's looking at that field like she wants in. I'm gonna chase that woman. Anyway, I'm gonna knock this in and get her done. Ah, you're spoiled, you lot. Spoiled, I tell you. Oh, they'll be dying to get into this stuff. So yeah, mission accomplished. So this is another one of these where I can show you This will be next year or the year after, not entirely sure. Like, see here where the post is, it could be over there, and then you see the ground goes away down around there, and that's still field. But because it's a bit of a peninsula, it was never fenced in. So like you see all the way here, there's like a width of the disc vine all the way along there. So what I'll end up doing is pulling this fence down, and then the high ridge where the fence line used to be, push that all over, because I've already done that over there. The tractor's bouncing back and forward. Like here you can see how it gets really high. So I'm going to pull the fence down, push that back. You can see here, like, we're getting to almost 3 widths of the header before the edge of the ravine. So yeah, we'll knock that all back out of the way and redo the fence, and it'll all be barb. So that's actually quite a good straight line from back there all the way through to that corner there. It's pretty well a straight line. So when doing barb, you try and make it as straight as possible. And then when you get to this corner, it's almost a straight shot down to the bottom there, which I can make it straight. And then the next fence will go up, because that's the fence that'll be going up into the North Ravine and fencing the actual ravine part versus that part there, which could be field. So yeah, plans afoot, plans and plans. Doing this all for you. It's all for you. Anyway, there you go. Giggity giggity. Yeah, I haven't done any like proper levels yet, but I just figured, just in case there's any more broken posts and stuff, like that fence there is not energized yet, but for the most part they don't even care about the fences. But if there is any, even if there's any youngsters out wandering around, it's better than having a gaping cake hole right there. So yeah, done. It's actually repurposing. These are old gates that we have down at the bale yard. Now we don't graze in the field by the bale yard, so right now we don't need those gates there. We will be replacing them, because we're not taking that chance. But for now, the gate's fine here, because what I want to do is I want to get all the fencing projects sort of caught up, and then I can make a shopping list of what all gates we're going to need. And you never know, maybe there's going to be a sale coming on here at some point, would be nice. So I'm going to order up a bunch of these 16 footers, because I'm going to be putting another one there. And then I want to order up a bunch more of those little 10 footers, because like you see up there, that's what the outside perimeter is going to be, is twin 10 footers. So 20 foot is as big as anything needs to be coming in and out of the section, realistically. So I'm going to get back to hanging this up. If you didn't think I was serious about the amount of fencing we're doing, there's 27 rolls of barbed wire. Whole pallet. Fencing in the inmates. Okay, gotta go and hang a gate, set up some insulators, get ready to let these girls out into the L. And lo and behold, they've now inserted another storm for the wee hours of tonight. Apparently there's a absolutely humdinger coming through Regina tonight and the early hours of tomorrow morning. CP posted on Facebook that out of Montana they're measuring upwards of 150 to 170 km/h winds coming out of this storm. So I'm hoping none of that reaches Canada. But, yeah. Anyway. Another gate. Gates everywhere. Gates. So, yeah, this is one of these where I don't know whether we will be hanging another gate on this post. We might. I don't know why we would ever have animals access to this paddock, because there's going to be a fence down there over to that wall to isolate that to here. So, bit of a quandary really. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so this gate can swing that way or back this way. That way it lets equipment come through here, because one of the only ways to get to this field instead of going through the yard and all the other way is that gate over there. So this is now closed off. Yeah, I know I've got to put a better chain system on this gate, and there will be. Now I gotta go and put ends, electric strainers on these posts, and then put an up and over for this guy. That way these girls can come out here. Onwards. Okay, this is a higgledy-piggledy mess, and there's a good Scottish word for you today: higgledy-piggledy. So yeah, like I said, this is not a big gateway. This is only just for a few cows to come in and out, and at the most a skid steer. So at some point we'll be cleaning a lot of this stuff out of here. So I've got these insulators on here, ready to schneck this wire and hook it on here. And then I've got these insulators on here ready to schneck that wire and hook it on there. I just got to attach a couple of insulators on going this way and reattach this fence. Now this fence here is not where it's supposed to be, because the fence goes around that tree going that way. It should technically go through that gap. So we're meaning to put a very stout fence going that direction, probably boards or something, but part of me is saying we should probably let those cottonwoods down first before we go building really strong fences, because the tree will just cut it in half, like we know that one tree did to this fence, because it did this. But we need it just to get going this year, so we'll put insulators on and just attach this fence to here for now. And yes, for now we'll get done, I promise. So yeah, then we'll end up drilling a couple of hinges, and one of those little 10-foot gators will go in here and swing back to that fence. That way we can let these girls, oh, I got a mosquito in my ear hole. Let these girls off into here, because you can see they've been doing some trimming. Anyway, so yeah, we'll I'm losing light here, so I think we'll probably cut her loose here, hoping the weather's going to smarten up and we can get back to cutting some hay, because Piper Doug's going to need a rest from all this walking and bending over and nailing wire up, because I think now I've got far enough that I'm enough head that I can go cutting, and then once I've cut, then I can go back to getting that big fence done, because the cow's done on Tuesday. So the next video after this upload, we're going to let the cows into the south dam field, that big field, so they'll be in there for a while. That's probably going to be close to a month's worth of eating down there, so yeah, so that should give me enough time to go cutting, start getting some of the baling done, and then get back to that fence. Anyway, so hopefully this storm doesn't amount to much. Fingers crossed, we'll see. And we'll see you in the next one. Maybe fire out the chainsaw too, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching, and sorry it's getting a bit boring, just fencing. Well, we did have a wee trip to Virden and have some ice cream, but anyway, oh gosh, thanks for watching everybody. We'll see you in the next video, and don't forget, go down there, comment, the old likety-do, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye everybody.